Legend has it they were directed by the Dark Ones. Necrobomicon Ex Modus, roughly translated, movies of the trash. These movies served as a passageway to the evil world beyond. They were made long ago, when the shelves of your local Blockbuster ran black with the plastic of tapes. It was with these tapes that the evil was distributed into every home. Now, years later, all but lost to the sands of nostalgia until 2021, when they returned.
Welcome to Bones Away presents Bargain Bin-Anza. I am your crypt keeper, Tyler Rowe. Joining me inside the dungeon as always is...
Peyton Bieber.
And in the coffin across from him is...
Shake it once, that's fine. Shake it twice, it's okay. And shake it 3 times, I'm just playing with myself again! Jared Seifert.
Okay, alright. I figured a spooky little intro was appropriate to kick off our...
We're the 3 witches.
Oh, is that
That
who
share
we're...
one eyeball from Hercules.
Oh,
no, but I just came up with
Hocus
it.
Pocus.
I'm Sarah Jessica Parker. We all know. We got the same nose.
Oh my god.
I guess that makes you the main one, right?
I was going to say...
Bette Midler.
Is that Bette Midler?
Bette Midler?
I was like,
You're the one we all forget her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one who rides the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that sounds about me.
Full disclosure, I fucking hate Hocus Pocus. I really don't like that movie.
Move along.
Just drag everyone's like, we're leaving this podcast. Yes, this is Bargain Bin-Anza. What
Has nothing to do with witches.
No,
or
not-
crypts.
Yeah, well, Fritz, kind of.
What up, blood? No, to kick off the Halloween season, this Bargain Bin-Anza is about 3 films of repetitive quality. The first 3 Resident Evil films.
Yeah.
All starring Mila Jovovich. And really, that's the only person who is consistent through all 3.
Well,
And-
I guess the 2 have the doctor guy.
Yeah.
What's his name from Game of Thrones?
And the 2 have the guy that was in The Mummy.
The funny-eared guy.
What?
Wait, no, he's not in
He's
the
in the Mummy?
He's the guy with the face tattoos
Oh.
in The Mummy.
He's also in the new seasons of Star Trek Discovery.
No one watches that shit.
Yeah.
Peyton.
Shout out to my homie Trekkies out there.
Shout out to people I don't know, but probably watch it.
Shout out to all my red shirts out there. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the format of Bargain Bin-Anza, it
You're
is
going to say
our...
Resident Evil. It's like, because there's a format.
It's not in this movie, that's for sure. This is our once every 4 episodes coverage of 3 movies, typically in a theme around themselves. But this is the first time we're covering just a sequence of films, because there are 6 Resident Evil films, and after watching these 3, I would say yes, there is no way you could do a full episode on a Resident Evil movie.
It would be very difficult.
It would be very difficult. But the way that we do this is each one of us will take the lead in the discussion on said movie in the sequence that we're going to do. And then it's kind of a more casual riff talk, not really about the plot, which luckily for us, there is no plot between
Hardly.
these 3 movies. So we can kind of just go for it. So let's just start it off with 2002's Resident Evil, where it all began.
Was this
Jarrett,
really 2000?
2002.
2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just said it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard 2000 and...
No,
That
2002. Directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, a man who has made
Paul W.S. Giamatti.
one good movie.
Wes
and-
Anderson?
It's not this.
Yeah, everyone knows. Every time I try to say his name, I got to stop myself from saying Wes Anderson or Paul Thomas Anderson, who is another director, but he's made one good movie, which is Event Horizon, and he's never done another
With Sam
movie
Neill?
ever since. Yeah, and
We should do that
Lawrence
one.
Fisher. That's not a bad movie, so we're not going to cover it on this show.
We can
Thank you very much.
figure it out. Just have fun talking about it.
So, Jarrett, would you like to go ahead and lead us off with 2002's Resident Evil?
Okay, so Mila, she's naked and she's in a shower, and she's on the floor.
She's naked for almost half these movies.
Yeah.
No, it's like almost half of the ending of each movie.
And starting, because the starting and ending of every movie is the exact same. They're like, you want 5 minutes of the next movie?
Hey,
Here it is.
Did you forget the first 2 movies? Here, we'll recap them for you.
Oh my god, all 3 of these.
Yeah.
We could honestly have a very loose conversation where we just lump the 3 movies into themselves because they really
They're
are.
copy paste.
Oh,
They
each
are.
one, yes.
I'd
I
say
like
the third one is
the most unique.
the most unique
Yeah.
of the 3.
Yeah, I would say that this movie exists in the director's hot wife cinematic universe, up there with Underworld and any Rob Zombie movie. It's all because not Kate Beckinsale. Mila Jovovich eventually married Paul W.S. Anderson. I don't know if she was married to him at the point that this one was made, but he directed and produced all of them. He didn't direct all of them, but he produced all of them as well. And he was like, yeah, my wife's hot. Put her in these movies. And,
What about films that like are women that I have a crush on? Like
That's like every movie. You
Tim-
really are
Helen
selective.
Bonham Carter?
You like Helen Bonham Carter?
No, but
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton does.
Well, that's his ex-wife, so I would hope he likes
Well, there
her.
you go.
So yeah, Jarrett, lead us off. What happens? She's naked in a shower.
She wakes up and she's like, wow, this is really weird. And then this is also where we get the lovely like 2000s era traumatic flashback that's like
Are you
which
sure
if
it's
you
not
watch,
just
like,
people
13
moving
Ghosts-
around in this movie?
It's both.
That's the next one.
It's both. It's like 13 Ghosts had it too. Like they like when Matthew Lillard would touch something and he'd have like a psychic vision or something and he'd be like with
That's
like
the-
flashbacks. And it's like ah!
That's the same thing with which 13 Ghosts was made by the same production company, Dark Castle, but with
Yeah.
House on Haunted Hill, it's the same thing. Everything cuts to like people like that like shaky face thing, like.
It was a rough time in film in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does not paint the early 2000s very well.
No, I will say that the dire consequences of the Matrix have been exponential
Yeah.
throughout the years. That
Like, the
the
bad
Matrix
parts of The
ruined
Matrix.
everything for film, like in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So she goes around this mansion. She's like, wow, this is crazy. And there's like a picture of her and a dude. And she's like, I remember sex with this man. And then like the other man shows up. Or no, what's his butt from, the fashion magazine. Mode, the Ugly Betty.
Oh, jeez. I was like, I can't tell you who anyone
love
in this
Ugly Betty.
movie is other than Mila Jovovich, so you're on your own.
I think it's Daniel Mode in that.
They do really
TV show.
on a level of connecting this to the video games, which no one seemed to want to do. This is the closest you get to any content from the video games
Yeah.
other than bad guys and the general setting, because this is almost the mansion from the first Resident Evil,
Yeah.
but not even at all. And we're in it for like 10 minutes.
So basically, some security guards come out and they're like, you actually, like, you had your memory wiped or, like, because of some, like, knockout chemical, but you and this other guy are in a fake marriage to make it look like you just live in this fancy house, but you're actually protecting, like, a secret entrance to this thing called the Hive, where they do a lot of, like, genetic experimenting. Oh, I forget, at the start, there was a guy that, or girl, because we don't know at that point, they were like seen collecting green and blue vials of stuff, and
Yeah, the
then they
T-virus.
exit and they throw one of the vials and it breaks, and then they like
It
rush out of
infects-
there.
It infects all of Umbrella Corporation's like offices in Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Just this giant facility.
it's just a building. Yeah.
No, it's underground.
No, that's above ground. The building that gets in. Oh, it is.
No, it is all underground
Oh my
because it's the
underground.
Hive.
They're
It's all
both-
underground. Because they're like, oh, if we don't get out of here fast enough, like everything locks down and nothing can
And
escape.
they show a scene where a guy swings an axe at a window and he breaks it, and
Just
a
a little
single chip
chip.
of glass comes out, and I'm like, I saw that, and they
bulletproof guy.
focus on it so hard, and I was like, okay, that's gonna be important, right? Because that means the glass can be broken, and then they just fucking die in the room that
Yeah.
they're in.
No, the room floods and they drowned in the room.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we did it. We survived. We can get out. Anyway, I don't really feel like swinging this axe again. Let's just call it here.
If I have to watch one more zoom out of blueprints of this underground facility and swirl around it.
That's 45 minutes of each one of these movies. Is a zoom out of what the hive is.
Every time we transition to that location, like, whoosh. I'm like, we get it. We're in the lab.
Yeah, and it's just... They're like, okay, we got to remind everyone of where they are. And I could see maybe there's some, like, half-assed reference to, like, in the video game, you're always checking your map as to where you are. But, like, nah. No one gave that much research into this.
Well, no, because they only have, like, 3... There's no characters from the games.
Well, there's also no reason to pay attention to the map in this movie.
No, because it's like, I don't know what the hive is, but it's not a real place.
I don't know where they're going. I don't know what, like, they're trying to get in... dismantle a computer?
Tell the folks who may have not seen this now almost 20-year-old movie, how do they get to the hive, Jarrett?
Train car.
Under the mansion.
Oh, yeah. A train car under the mansion.
There's a train station in the mansion.
It's more of like a single subway car, but it's set up like an armored subway car.
Yeah, it's like a rail, just a down...
with a bag of pipes.
I personally think... a bagpipe?
No, there's a bag of pipes. There's the bag of pipes.
Yes.
A bag of bombs?
The bag of bombs.
I personally think, I have a theory about this, that 2 different scripts were written, and someone only got 10 pages far, and then they said, we don't like this script, so that's why all of a sudden the mansion has a train underneath it to go to the hive.
You're like, whoa, you're going to take the video game and make it into a movie? No.
Well, the mansion entrance is like the secret entrance. There's an alternate main entrance that everyone else uses.
I wholeheartedly really do think that's initially they were making a just straight up, they were going to remake the first game into a movie. And then they didn't like the script, so they were like, all right, there's a train under it, because we do like this opening part.
Oh, she picks out like an ugly dress that was set out for her. And
that
it's
red
like
dress?
It's a dress that's too short, so she has like short shorts. And I know that's from the video game.
It's her dress is essentially Ada Wong's dress, but it's not. Yeah. And you keep expecting Ada Wong to show up, but she never does, unfortunately. At least not in these first 3 movies.
We meet some mercenaries, I guess I'll call them. One of them is that one girl from every movie.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez.
I'm so happy. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Michelle Rodriguez, but I'm so happy that she dies in this movie, because I was like, thank God she's not going to be in the rest.
She died in everything because she's an alcoholic and they couldn't stand her.
What?
Oh, really?
That's why she got kicked off of Lost. Because she got like a DUI on the island that they were filming on.
But they liked her in every single Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, because when you have a DUI, Fast and the Furious.
They're like, cars, got it. You can handle it.
They're like, no, you gotta be drunk to be in these movies.
So, like, the movie doesn't really go anywhere besides, like,
what are you talking about? They just took a train from under the mansion. They go somewhere.
They go into this
like
building and they're like, wow, this is weird. No one's here. And then they're like, we got to get to the main computer room, and the main computer is a little girl.
That is one of the things that's confusing about this movie, is that it has an all-knowing, like, AI system in the thing.
That, like, picks and chooses when to be there.
Yeah, and when to be smart, because it's like, wouldn't that computer system know that there was, like, a viral outbreak? And wouldn't it be like, hey, there's a viral outbreak, don't come in here. But it is evil.
Yeah, well it's not evil. It's like saying, don't come in here. There's a virus. And they're like, this is dumb. We're not listening to you, little holographic girl.
Are these mercenaries, I was confused by this. Are these mercenaries sent by Umbrella?
I think so. Aren't they part of Stars?
No, that's the next movie. They're part of Stars.
Okay, so they're not Stars in this one.
I think they are
part
Umbrella.
of
Umbrella mercenaries trying to go down to cover up their mistake.
Yeah.
And
no, I thought they were going down to evaluate the damage.
I think they were going to evaluate the damage, but they were going to try to contain the outbreak and cover up.
I thought they were going to shut down the computer, because they bring down the, like...
Yeah, you're right.
Machine.
Yeah. They do mention... in the beginning that Umbrella is like the world's largest corporation, and not only do they...
I was like, this is a monster corporation. Like, it's combining... What was it? It was combining, like, Google and a medical company and a little bit of Amazon at the start when it was describing
and they're
it.
like, and they fund military interactions.
Wait, like, SpaceX.
Yeah, it's just... Tesla. Wow, who would have known? Yeah.
We're trying to send things to space. Okay, then why do you have a military contract that can guarantee missiles anywhere in
didn't you
like
hear
2
him
hours?
say that-
They're just a military corporation.
That's all it is.
Like, they just want contracts from the United States government.
He wants to put a satellite in the sky that'll have advertisements on it. So it's just Umbrella with their satellite that they have later. I do have to say my favorite part about this movie is that I don't care about any of the mercenaries, and the movie knows that, so they get rid of all of them just about as quick as possible.
I like the hot one.
Which one?
Exactly. No, he's the one that you think is dead, but then comes back and is like, I killed the computer as he's dying.
Yes.
Also, the amount of times, this is for all of these movies, the amount of times that someone's like, I got bit. Oh, wait.
I won't tell anyone.
I fucking will kill everyone.
Every single movie has a character who does it.
And I'm like, why does no one learn? Why is no one like, wow, you know, I could really fuck up everyone else in my group right now because I'm like a little bitch.
Yeah. Especially in the third one.
Yeah, the third one.
Well, it's an easy zombie trope. So many, like almost every single zombie
You know what
movies,
was one of the best things that ever happened in a zombie movie that I still think about?
What?
Is in 28 Days Later, where the guy looks up at the crow.
And the blood drops in his eye.
Into his eye. And I was like, there will be no other better person turning into a zombie moment than that movie. Because I was like, that's fucked up.
Personal disclaimer by the Bombs Away crew. We understand that the zombies in 28 Days Later are not truly zombies. They're just people infected with rabies. And we get that. We would like no hate mail on that.
Rabies is zombies.
You know contrarian film fans. They're like, oh, it's actually a rabies virus, not zombies.
All right, well, real life, for all those idiots, that's not what rabies actually does. So pull your head out of your ass and be a fucking adult and realize it's a movie, you dingbats.
Real life, zombies aren't real.
It's all conspiracy.
Newsflash, Captain Einstein.
Speaking of conspiracy, we'll get to that one after the second movie.
But this is the scene that everyone knows from this movie.
The
is
laser scene.
which makes me laugh
fun.
so fucking hard every time I see it.
So the pattern is one laser goes across, and it's like, okay, ducked that one. The second one
But
is...
they don't all duck it because that one guy gets his fingers chopped off.
I know, which that guy dies from his fingers getting chopped off. He has nothing else happen, but like he gets 4 fingers chopped off from a laser and somehow passes away. You would not die from that amount of blood loss. Also, if it's a laser, it's going to cauterize those wounds like immediately as it slices you in half. So you're not even going to have blood loss.
I really don't
or
think
minimal
they
blood
thought about
loss.
The heat level of these lasers are like, it just cuts.
Look, if George Lucas can think about the heat levels of his lasers, I think Paul W.S. Anderson can. It's a vindictive laser, though. I really like that because initially it just goes straight, and then that girl's like, jump it, and it goes up. And it's just like a continuity error that I noticed. But when the laser goes up at that woman, it's at eye level. And then when it goes through her it's at her neck, and her head falls off. But then the best one is our like main mercenary. Kind of gets us with like a almost like a Deep Blue Sea moment, because you're like, this guy's gonna survive the whole time.
It's
right?
our Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, he's our Samuel L. Jackson, and then he gets gritted. He gets waffled.
He outsmarts it for like the first 2 times. And you're like,
All you had to do was lay down for the first 2 times.
Yeah.
That is
It really
true.
didn't take outsmarting it, just
Do
took
you know what would have been a
attention.
cooler kill than being waffled to death? If he laid down and it cut him long ways, like all the way through.
Like, yeah, we got you this.
Yeah, and he's like, "Fuck!" And just like cuts him.
Horribly sliced bread.
Yeah, just like a end piece. Yeah, this is the only good scene of this entire movie is this scene here.
Yeah, so they get lasered up, and then they're like, oh, we got the door open. The whole movie just kind of is like, oh no, a roadblock. Oh, okay, so that's done. Anywho, well...
No, yeah, it's like roadblock. All right, someone died. Anyway, you can go now. You paid the toll.
So they get into... See, this is where I get mixed up, because I'm like, they get into the main room with the computer, and then the computer's like, everything's really bad. Watch out. There's a virus. It's a little British girl, but I guess she's also like a poor Victorian boy. Newspaper, 5 cents.
When will father come back from the war?
But like, then it just turns into, oh no, there are undead people here. Well,
yeah, it's basically like
Michelle got bit.
it's like, okay, and zombie mayhem ensues for the next hour of the
Yeah.
film. It's just like
Sorry, not zombie T virus mayhem.
Isn't there 2 viruses? There's
No.
T virus and
the V virus.
The V virus.
For
Turned you into a
vaginas.
vagina.
No, is it the Z? There's 2 viruses.
That's the
It's the
Zinka
T
virus.
virus in Resident Evil. Everything's T virus.
I
Yeah.
thought there was 2
Maybe in the video
in the
games.
video games. There's 2.
Is there?
Well, in this one, there's
Is it like
also the
T virus or
antiviral.
the C virus or something like that. It's like
Coochie virus. I do have to say, whereas this movie basically gives nothing in the way of anything to do with the video games, a later Resident Evil borrows from this movie, where in Resident Evil 4, there's a sequence with a laser that's a quick time event that you
Oh.
have to jump over, and if you don't, it like slices you in half and shit like that. So I was happy to see that because I just replayed Resident Evil 4, and I was like, oh wait, this is from that shit-ass movie.
Wait, is 4 in Spain?
Yes,
Four-
That's
one
the
with
best
Leon,
one.
right?
it's the best one with
Yeah.
Neon.
they're redoing it in VR.
I know.
I really want it.
I don't, because VR sucks.
Didn't
it's
they
also the one
redo
that's
it on
been
3DS?
It's the one that's been remade like 4 times now.
They did it on the 3DS, didn't they?
Something like that.
It's
Yeah.
like yeah.
It's a really good game. It's
It
so
is.
cool. It changes up the whole thing because if you shoot them in the head at night, this like virus comes out of their head that has like a big old blade. It's like, yeah. God, I wish that was this movie, not the movie that we're talking about now.
I
Like,
wish that was anywhere in this
Yeah.
franchise.
well,
Oh.
it's kind of the guy's arm in the third one.
The only
Kinda.
there's one thing that these movies love from the video games, and it's
The
those
dogs.
fucking dogs.
Those dogs and those
And
like
Dobermans.
brain-
And the lickers.
the lickers, yeah.
Yeah,
long
that's what they're
tongues.
called, lickers. And
Whoa, I missed those.
the lickers look
There's
fucking
only-
awful in this movie and the next
Oh, yeah.
one, and then they
What-
didn't put them in the third one.
What are...
The liquor is the one where it's like the brains on the outside, but it's like
in the church scene in the second one.
Oh!
You were just too turned
they,
on to
No,
realize
they crawl
when you
on the
saw
walls.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I wish that was my
There's only,
butthole.
there's only one in this movie.
One in this one,
One, but it's
a
like...
few in the
3
next.
and then none in.
But those shitty fucking dogs in all of them, and they
Yeah.
look awful.
They look
in
good
each-
and... Wait, they're not in the third one.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they
in
are.
the
Oh, wait.
opening scene,
Those-
they're in the.
Oh, that's right. They look pretty decent in the third one.
Not in close-ups. When the dogs in action scenes, it's real dogs in costumes.
Yeah.
But in close-ups, it's CGI, and it looks fucking horrible.
Well,
And
the
they
third
came out
one
in
looks better than the other two.
2007. 2007.
Well,
for
they
that
couldn't
one.
Jurassic Park it. We'll say
Yeah,
that.
you know, Jurassic Park came out, what, 15 years
Yeah.
prior? Not everyone can, you know, get it right.
So, like I said, it just kind of goes on. Like, they're bumbling between rooms of, like, trying not to get eaten, but somehow they also get separated at one point. Mila, she finds out, or she, like, bumbles around and, like, has repressed memories come back to her.
Because she's like a sleeper agent, is essentially
Yeah.
what she is.
So essentially, they get locked in the room that has a lot of water in it, and then it's her, Mila, and the one guy from Ugly Betty, and Mila's like, I'm dying, but then, or no, not Mila, Michelle Rodriguez is like,
Rodriguez.
I'm about to die because I was bitten, and Mila's like, it's fine. Oh, because the guy that she was like faux married to was like, ha ha ha, I knew. Oh, so hold on.
He's-
This is exactly
yes.
how I tell all my stories as well. So if anyone's ever like, wow, he's
Hold
all
on.
over the place.
Back up.
So,
Let me
okay,
back up a little
they're
bit.
both sleeper agents. Yeah, sideline. But so she essentially, the guy from Ugly Betty's sister, they're like, and the guy from Ugly Betty, they were environmental agents, is what they called them in the movie, which I was like, I really don't think the virus has anything to do with the environment, but sure. And so Mila was going to leak them the virus, or like give them the virus. But her fake husband found out because he was listening with a listening gun, and he was the one at the start of the movie that stole the virus and the antidote and then threw it and infected the whole hive.
Yep.
But so he goes to the train station because he's like, I'm getting out of here. By the way, the antiviral was in the train the whole time, you stupid idiots. You didn't even have to go all the way down here. You could have just like let it be. And then the computer's like, actually, I don't take sides. I hate all of you. And she releases the liquor.
Papa, do you think Tiny Tim will make it to next Christmas?
So she releases the liquor and kills him or turns him into a zombie.
When you said the liquor, I was like, damn, she's boozing.
So
Here,
she
have
starts
some
drinking. Aren't they called liquors? Didn't you call them that?
Yeah, they're called a
They're
liquor.
called liquors.
So then they're like, oh, okay, wait. So they were crawling through tunnels. The really hot guy that I like got bit, and then they were crawling on top of like ductwork essentially, but it was pipes, but the same thing. And he was like, I'll be here alone and die. So they had to leave him, but he actually found a way to crawl away, but you don't know what happened to him. Anywho, they're stuck in this locked room, and as the computer's about to be like, I'm sending the liquor to you, and it's like trying to break the glass, she was about to kill Mila was about to kill Michelle Rodriguez with an axe, but you're like, and then she actually hits the computer screen that had the little girl, but the little girl's like, please don't hit me. And you're like, wow, really? Hitting one computer screen shut her down?
This is a supercomputer throughout this entire building. Yeah. She would just show up on another monitor and be like, okay.
But it turns out they like also still had their computer thingy, and the hot guy that we thought was dead actually like shut her down with his computer like blanking device, I guess. Like something happened there.
I don't know, dude. There's so many like ex machinas throughout this entire thing where it's just like, all right, I guess you guys figured it out.
It's a Deus ex machina. Please say the full thing.
All right, I'm sorry.
It's a god machine.
I know. I'm
kidding. So then he's like, hey, I helped you guys. He's like dying too. And they're like, don't worry, there's time to get the antidote. And it's like, there's not. Just kill them all.
Well, and then also, meanwhile, the liquor ate a person. And in one of the weirdest explanations in the movie, they're like, oh no, now it has human DNA. And it's like bigger and grosser now.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, it's just Feld so easily. It dies so fast.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking liquor. It's the dumbest shit on earth.
So they go back to the train station, kill the fake husband, take the train back to the house because they're like, that'll be our way out. Michelle Rodriguez dies after getting the antiviral. The guy that was supposed to die but didn't die dies again. And then David gets scratched by the thing. Sorry, David Mode. The guy from Ugly Betty gets scratched by the thing, and he's like, because I guess a scratch can now transmit the virus, and like little tendrils start coming out of his cut.
Yeah.
And then, so him and Mila, they get to the mansion and they're like, oh, great, we kind of survived. But then guys in white suits come in and they're like, grab him, get him.
Hold on really quick. I do have to say that while I mentioned that the liquor dies a dumb way, I do have to say it is funny. They stab the liquor through the tongue with like a pole, and then it's like hanging out the bottom of the subway car, and it's like, and it like catches on fire and shit, and it's like being dragged for like miles.
Oh yeah, for some reason the subway has like let's expose the bottom.
Yeah, panel you can just open to see the tracks underneath.
Like, that's fine. And then she's like, I feel like his name was Matt or Max. I couldn't tell the difference because she kept saying, and I was like, is it Matt or Max?
I think it's Max or something.
Max.
Let's just call it
MACTHXTT.
White guy.
Yeah. And so the scientists take him away, but then knock her out. Surprise, we get 10 minutes of the next movie.
God, you guys, these fucking movies end. And there's always 10 to 20 minutes left in them.
They end and then start the next movie to be like, just come back. Like, now you know what's happening next. You have to come back. So she wakes up, Mila.
His name is Matt, by the way.
Matt.
All right.
So she wakes up and then she's basically covered with...
like a towel.
It's a 13 by 17 piece of paper on the front,
yeah.
13 by 17 on the back.
And 2 rubber bands.
It's one of those horrible towels that you get at a hotel that isn't a full-sized towel, but it's also not a hand
rag.
towel.
Yeah.
It's like weirdly between, and you're like, I can't even wrap this around myself.
This scene is my favorite scene in the movie because it's the only time I ever felt duped because I thought I was going to see her boobs, and then we saw her full-on bush.
You see, like, upper vag. It's crazy. You see the little mounds at the top. I don't know vagina anatomy, so
it is called a mound. So you're right, but you do see her bush, and I was like, whoa, and then you don't see her nipples.
Trimmed, by the way. So good on her.
A landing strip.
It was she's basically wearing a tiny sandwich board, like a crazy homeless man. And so
I'd eat that roast beef sandwich.
Honestly, I would too. She's very pretty. She looks so much. Every time I was watching this, I was like, you look like her and Carly Kloss. That could be Carly Kloss's mom.
They do look pretty similar, yeah.
And
she was just in another Paul W.S. Anderson movie, fucking Monster Hunter, this past year.
Oh, Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it was bad,
Monster.
I heard it too.
Oh, yeah.
We'll cover it later. Next season.
Yeah.
So she starts leaving this oh no, she goes up to this glass and she's like, I know this is reflective glass.
She's like, ah!
And you see someone pass on it on the other side. But then she also gets out of that room and then she's in the streets and there's no one in the streets, but everything's abandoned already. Somehow they printed newspapers, even though this viral outbreak goes like quick within a matter of hours.
Oh yeah, in these 3 movies, it ends the world in 2 weeks, apparently.
I would assume faster because in the next movie, they're like, there's been a crazy viral outbreak. And then they printed a newspaper, but it's all the same day, which I'm like, that's really fast press.
Speaking of which, we will talk about it a little bit more once we get to the third movie. But the first movie and the second movie take place about like 10 minutes after each other, basically. Yeah. But the third movie is like...
Well, it's 10 minutes after each other, but she was like asleep for 2 days, I think it was.
Yeah. But yeah, weird ending to this movie. She just goes out in the street of Raccoon City, and this is when I learned that Raccoon City
was the best quick and dirty I ever gave.
Is supposed to be like Middle America. I never knew that.
Okay, like the zoom out. The zoom out that they did would place it about Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah, it's
because at first it looked exactly where St. Louis would be, but it's a bit further up on the Illinois side, and you can tell because it's southwest of Chicago. Yeah, because you see you see Lake Michigan, and it's just kind of boop, but it's not all the way down where St. Louis would be. And I know this.
It never dawned on me that Raccoon City is supposed to be, like Middle America, but that's important because in the third movie, it takes place in Utah, and they all have Raccoon City vehicles. And I'm like, bro, you did not keep the same fucking vehicles for 4 years.
And we'll get to it, but wait, in the zoom
they're not in Utah.
In the zoom out,
Salt Lake City, bro.
They do, but it's weird.
Utah. But when they zoom out, they're like in Colorado, like we're in Nevada.
Yes,
like, I know. Then they go down to Nevada. They go to Vegas. Why were they so far up?
You can get to Vegas from Salt Lake City pretty easily.
No, I know, but they went so far.
I know, and then they're going to Alaska, so they go down and then up.
God damn it, Claire.
Well, we'll get into the logistics of flying a helicopter to Alaska as well. So
we made it 50 feet.
What are you? Where are you dropping this on the Bargain Bonanza scale? For those of you who are not familiar, we don't rank these like our other movies on the Jaws scale. We have a Bargain Bonanza scale. It is dumpster. It's trash. Throw it out. Bargain bin, which means it basically exists exactly where it should be. It's it's guilty pleasure, whatever. And then staff pick is that it's really good and it could be an episode on its own. But I'm gonna tell you, I do not think any of these are gonna end up in that category.
So I handled this one. I'll start us off. It's a bargain bin for me just because, and I could spoil all my reviews right now. It has a neat niche, and I love how video game movies don't play into video games at all, but they try so hard. But it's like, the reason that you could get people is by doing what's gone the video game thing.
They know that, and that's why they don't make them like video games. So
that's why they cast Chris Pratt.
Do you know
as Mario? It's me, Mario. Don't worry, that's not the accent. Did you see that video? Yeah. It's trash, and he looks stoned out of his mind.
I have to say, I know you don't like the guy. I don't really like him that much either.
Did you know he gave up his cat because it was too old and he didn't want to care for it anymore?
But that video was kind of funny. I did laugh because he was like, all right, how do I handle all this hate? I'm going to make a video where I'm like, oh yeah, it's me, Mario. And then I was
like, give it a try.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's pretty funny.
Hey, it's me, it's Mario.
So I will ask you, since you just said that, do you know what other movies Paul W.S. Anderson has directed?
Oh, of course not. I don't look at things.
Do you know what other movies he's directed?
Manchurian Candidate?
No.
No, I don't.
Wait, okay. Would you say that Paul W.S. Anderson looks like a guy who has helmed a video game movie prior?
Probably not.
Yes, because I know he has.
He directed the original Mortal Kombat movie. Did
he do the sequel?
I'm not sure if he did the sequel, but he did do the original, and it's embarrassing to think that, like, this guy's done a video game movie already. What is he, like, he doesn't know shit, and then he did Monster Hunter.
They should have taken the reins away from him then. It's like, no, you video games, not your thing.
And see, this movie, and I'm just going to say, I give it a bargain bin, but I will say about these 3 movies on their own, I will say right now, these 3 movies prove what I've always felt, that Super Mario Brothers is a good fucking movie. Because it's like, at least it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I've already done that episode.
I know. It was so long ago, too. I want to revisit it.
I think it's...
Because it's not us. It's...
No, Jarrett was on it.
Jarrett.
But it was so long ago. But I love that movie. And at least it tried something new. And this is just so boring. But it's a bargain bin for me.
Is Super Mario Brothers the first video game movie?
No.
Yeah.
What's the first video game
It's
movie?
considered the first video game movie.
I feel like it wouldn't be.
It is.
What about Space Invaders?
There's no Space Invaders movie.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, shut up. Peyton.
From People from Outer Space.
Oh, my God. Peyton.
No, E.T.
Who are you, the audience at
But
Knott's
reverse.
last night? Peyton.
E.T. had a video game.
Well, but it wasn't based
that was a video game based on
you
it, I know.
fucker. Peyton, what are you giving this?
Bargain bin.
Okay, good.
It's right in the middle. It's a fun movie to, like, start this franchise, even though you're expecting the first video game. It's not, but it's still like that. It's like it's like iconic now.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, you gotta see it at least once, and then
Just for the laser scene.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that laser scene before, just for the laser scene.
Yeah, it's got some good moments, but nothing to like rave about.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's it's almost like it's not even a sequel, it's just a continuation of the story that we were already on. Let's roll right into Resident Evil Extinction? Is that what it's called, this one?
Yes, because I think
Apocalypse. The next one's
the next one's
Extinction. Which is a confusing title sequence.
And then there's Afterlife, and then there's...
So you guys know on November 24th, 2021, there's Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon
Yes,
City
there's
coming
a
out.
new one coming
I'm
out.
so
And guess
excited
what?
now.
It's a prequel. It takes place in 1998. So it's
Good.
following the original story of the first game.
Well, I like that it's taking place in the original game world. Or like it's trying to do the first video game.
Yeah.
And
not this.
whatever we're talking about now.
So, Resident Evil 2 Extinction, now with 200% more characters from the video game, because there is 2 characters from the video game in this one. I would say 250%, because Stars does show up in this.
Also, I know I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but Jill Valentine's background would have been a far better movie.
So stupid. Jill Valentine's the worst character. I hate her.
In the movies or in the games?
In the movies.
Okay, because Jill Valentine's a great character in the
Good character
games.
Also, if you want to split hairs, because I do, theatrical release was Mario. Television release was Fatal Fury, which was a year before Mario. Direct to video, 3 years before Mario, was Tengai Mayako Jiraiya Hin. But
You know
2
Japanese?
years. Yeah, I did take a semester of it.
I dropped a semester
Yeah,
of it.
same.
So like, this language is hard.
But direct to video animation, Ninja Gaiden was 1991. So there are other ones.
So Super Mario
but
Brothers was the first one.
Like, first
theatrical.
blockbuster.
First theatrical.
Was it the first? It was the first one with John Leguizamo, that's for sure.
Yeah. But television, Fatal Fury.
Hey Mario, we gotta go to the Mushroom Kingdom. So this movie begins essentially, 2 days or whatever after Resident Evil. The T virus has.
The meth virus.
The meth virus has gone out from the Umbrella Corporation building in the Hive and has started to infect Raccoon City. So Umbrella, which I don't understand how they have the power to lock down a city. They are a corporation.
I think this is their city.
They just own the city.
Yeah,
It's like Celebration Florida.
Yeah. Or Amazonville in the future.
There already is an Amazonville. There's an Amazon distribution center that has a homeless encampment around it.
And the Paul Towns, I think they were. The doll didn't own.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are a thing forever. But yeah, so you think they own this entire city?
I think so.
Okay, so they're locking it down, and they're like, all right, everyone leave the city. You gotta leave.
It's a walled city. So
It's a walled city, which is weird.
It sounds like they knew what they were getting into with that wall. They're like, we better wall this off.
It's a walled city with suburbs?
Oh yeah, that scene. Okay, so the opening scene.
Bless you, my child.
The opening scene of this movie reminds me so much of the opening scene of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which I do not think is a mistake. I think that movie came out
Superman
first.
was really good in that one, though.
Shut the fuck up. That movie does have a good scene where a woman gives birth to a zombie baby, which is wild.
Does it eat her out?
Sorry. Oh, jeez.
I didn't mean to. Oh, I walked into that on accident.
Ew. Oh
Does it eat its way out of her?
It comes out of her like a chest burster. Oh my god.
This is probably one of the best arguments.
It's like, good thing I'm a licker.
And she's like, oh no. Oh no.
That's gross. We're talking about a baby.
And a zombie one at that.
It comes out of her stomach. It rips out of her. So, God, you're so gross.
I didn't mean it.
So this is when we're introduced to Jill Valentine. We're also introduced to a bunch of like Umbrella Corp people. Who the fuck cares? Except the one guy, Mr. Gray. He does show up in the 3 films that we've watched so far.
Jill Valentine's introduction is stupid as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, here's some newspaper clippings about a STARS person who was put on suspension. And then it's like, ooh, the zombie outbreak's happening. And she walks into a police station and is like, bam, 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 bam. Because all the police are like, let's try and handcuff the zombies.
Yeah, I don't
So
get
she
it.
starts shooting all of them. And then we also get introduced to, what's his butt? That's in 2 and 3.
Carlos?
Oh, the guy that is from The Mummy. His name is Carlos.
No,
in
not
this-
Carlos. Gold Guns.
Oh.
Oh,
That guy.
Mike Epps. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He is the much needed
Comedic.
comedic
unquote.
relief.
We'll put quotes around comedic.
Yeah, we'll put quotes because I think he is just playing a racist caricature.
Oh, yeah.
But quote unquote comedic relief, we're introduced to him because he's being like arrested in this time. Her character is like grossly misrepresented in these movies because she's a very cool character in the games. But don't get attached to her because
so
she's not in the
annoying.
next fucking movie.
Is she in the next?
I don't think she's in any of
franchise?
them. I don't think so.
I wish they would have at least put a line that's like, what happened to Valentine? But also what happens at the end of the second movie and then like what they talk about in the third movie doesn't make sense either.
No.
Not at all.
It doesn't line up.
No.
Nothing lines up.
Nothing lines up. It doesn't make any sense. And it's crazy because it's like the story's fucking written for you.
Yeah.
There is 3 games that follow the Raccoon City storyline that you could just go with.
I
and they
will
decide not
say
to.
it took the longest time for me to understand why it was called Resident Evil, and it's because it took place like in different residences, and it was evil.
Yeah.
Whereas like, why do they call it Resident Evil? No one's living there, and there's like, oh, people are living there.
Stupid.
The evil isn't like renting a house.
So
The evil got a mortgage in this village. Damn it.
We're introduced to several Umbrella Corporation type people. There's a, the stereotypical guy who has good intentions but works for an evil corporation.
I hated his fucking tiny glasses.
His tiny glasses are the fucking worst.
If I could have punched him in the face, I would have paid extra money to do it twice.
He's
All right.
in a wheelchair though.
Controversial.
Yeah, I don't care if he's in a wheelchair. His glasses are
On
stupid.
that controversial joke, how are you going to invent something to bring someone back to life but not fix your legs? Like that's
Wait, he did that with his daughter though.
I know, but he didn't do it on
but
himself.
He should have done it on himself too.
I think he
know.
still would have been
Before he did it on his
alive.
daughter.
Also, right? Because like, there's a lot of stories of being like, wait, doesn't this happen in one of the movies?
Yeah,
Where they're like, oh, I tested on someone else and it killed them.
that's the next
But
one. Where they unveil that Alice's blood is the antiviral.
No, I'm thinking of
Oh.
something else I watched.
Yeah, that's a weird thing too.
Oh yeah, that's
What was I
super weird.
watching?
Anyway, they're at the quarantine zone, and they build a COVID vaccine vaccination point. This is what's going to happen if you don't get the vaccine. They're just going to start mowing you down if you don't accept the vaccine. Basically, one guy falls on the ground, and he's like...
He was actually just having a seizure.
No, his
because he
daughter's
didn't
like...
have his medicine.
It's funny, his daughter goes, he has a bad heart! and then they just start fucking shooting everyone. And then... my favorite part is this character who's been speaking over a loudspeaker this entire time to everyone. When he's not talking on loudspeaker, he's talking with like Mr. Gray. He's like, in 50 Shades of Grey. He's like, hey, you gonna fuck me later? When he's talking to Mr. Grey, he's like, yeah, so what are we gonna do if there's an outbreak? And he's like, we're just gonna shut down the city. He goes, okay. And then there's an outbreak, and he puts the megaphone in front of his mouth, and he gets announcer voice. He's like a completely different person talking now. He's like, please leave the area. If you're in the area, you will be shot. So they start shooting people.
That's how they tell people to leave at Disneyland.
Please leave the area. The guy's like, wow, this is powerful.
Please leave the area. You'll die.
Mickey with a gun. We meet a newscaster who, do you know her name? Do you know her name? No. It's not important.
like-
She's pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty dead.
I want to say she was
yeah.
like Alexis or Alexa.
But meanwhile, are you saying, wait a minute, you said this takes place 10 minutes after the last movie. Where's Alice? Good fucking question. Because she's only going to show up when it's convenient to the plot. We get to go to a church, and this is when this movie, for a mere moment, I was like, all right, this is better than the first one. They're in the church, and they're fighting two lickers.
Nightcrawler's on the ceiling, and then he's like, "Oh, wrong movie." Blasts out of it.
Is
Goes
this
back
not the
to
audition for
X2.
Cabaret?
He's like X2.
So the lickers are up on the ceiling, and Alice busts. Well, they're fighting the lickers. They're losing.
She does what?
Tuna sub backwards.
Alice is like, floodgates open,
She's still naked.
like a lawn.
So, they're like, oh my god, we're losing this fight against these lickers. And then all of a sudden, through these... the lickers make her bust through the cathedral on a motorcycle. And this is when the movie turns into The Matrix.
Yeah.
It just like... She says...
Oh yeah, that's one thing we haven't talked about is,
The fucking sound
Yeah.
effects.
and it's what is it? It's featured in one of the Scary Movies really well. It's Scary Movie 3, where they do a lot of like,
Oh no, it's Scary Movie 2. But
and they get dizzy.
But they're making fun of The Matrix in
Yeah.
Scary Movie 2, which is
Yeah.
sad because that means that this was an outdated thing to do in this movie at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. Every time people move, we got to talk about the soundscape in this movie.
Every
Every time they fight, anytime a guy moves with a gun, like at the slightest way, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
or Nemesis comes out.
We'll get to Nemesis because he's the funniest fucking character in this movie. But she fights them. She does something absolutely baller, which is she drives her motorcycle and jumps off. And apparently this is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Church because it goes up a ramp and then she shoots it and explodes and it kills the two lickers.
And then we see the slow motion bullets. And they're spinning
Yeah, you see the
air
bullets.
trails,
Oh
and
my god.
hits the gas canister and blows up and you're like, oh jeez.
And then no one's like, who are you? They're just like, cool, thanks for saving us.
Cool, thanks. All right, let's go.
And I know this is not a movie writing thing. This is from the games. But were you shocked to find out how fucking stupid the abbreviation of STARS, like what it means is?
Yeah.
What is Special
My God.
Tactics and Rescue Services. You don't put "and" in an abbreviation. It would be STIRS.
Let me go to Mickey and Friends.
STIRS. This is, meanwhile, like the B plot is Mike Epps is just wandering around the city. He almost gets shot. Because like it's like
He's driving and he's like, I got a car. This is fine.
Okay, this would be me.
And he sees
Titty zombies.
stripper zombies, exotic dancer zombies coming out of their cage. They've been doing just fine.
This movie has
And he crashes.
This movie has 300% more nipple, but 100% less vagina.
It has 300% more nipple, but still the same amount of nipple as Mila.
God.
She got nip.
She got nipples.
She got rivet nip.
Yeah, he sees some strippers on and he's like, oh, damn! And then he crashes his fucking car, which is the most believable part of this movie. He goes to STARS. They kind of rescue him. That's when we get to meet our guy from The Mummy. The guy with the face tattoos in The Mummy. He is... look, he's a handsome guy, but I'm going to say
He got fucked up ears.
he is definitely beard fishing in The Mummy because he is much more handsome with facial hair. Because in this movie, he's like clean shaven and
That's
it's
how I
like
feel about myself.
I didn't want to say it.
Your whole nipple's hanging out right now, and it's driving me
I'm Mila
wild.
Kunis. No, it's
This
driving
podcast
me
is
wild. Mila Kunis. Wrong Mila. No, I thought he had cauliflower ear because he had like been a wrestler, but I just found out he just has really weird ears where they're kind of squat down, but also
You're really hung
out.
up on his ears.
They were really weird ears.
So if it was,
he was
any
really hot.
surprise to anyone, because it was a surprise to
Hopefully
me
my nipple
genuinely,
was
because they
out.
weren't following anything about the games. The
so
guy from the
exposed.
beginning where he had those tendrils coming out of his cuts, he turns into fucking Nemesis.
Oh yeah,
And guys, let me tell you.
and girls. Let us tell you.
Oh yeah, and girls, yes.
And anyone that
Them,
anywhere. Yeah,
You know,
we love all our listeners
all of our listeners. I will
or
tell
viewers,
you,
but there's not much to see.
he is scary in the games. But
Terrifying.
holy fuck, when you put him in a movie, he looks stupid as fuck.
In a movie, he
is a mascot character.
he just kind
I
of
think I
looks
saw him
like
last night.
yeah, right.
No, yeah, he's a scare actor.
He looks like someone that goes into Hot Topic. That even Hot Topic is like, sir, that's just trying too hard.
he's
It's like hardcore goth in a way that is like.
if you're
not
familiar,
that
if you're not
hardcore.
familiar, he has like a stapled shut eye, one wide eye, a cleft palate, and carries
Platform
around
boots.
platform boots,
Platform
a duster.
thigh-high boots.
Yeah.
Tubes over his shoulder
tubes over his
blades.
shoulders, a duster,
Staples
and he carries
everywhere.
not only a Gatling gun, but also a rocket launcher. And
Do you think when you turn into one of those zombies, you just like get the fashion? Like the staples just grow out of your body. It's like too much iron.
he's like,
And then it's like staples get grown out of you.
he's like, me nemesis because me misunderstood.
I mean, that's how it is at the end.
Is it? Oh yeah, at the end of this
At the end
movie,
of the
that's
movie.
right. They're like, he's just a misunderstood monster.
It's so stupid. Because he's got one blue eye.
God.
And
So-
guess what? He blew it.
He did. He blew something. A
Chunks.
fucking load. So he's shooting at the stars, guys. Anyway, Mila shows up now, and if you thought for any point at any point in your mind, oh, there's other characters in this movie, you'd be fucking wrong, because as soon as Alice shows up, they're gone for like the rest of the movie. She has a chase with him where she jumps 35 feet in the fucking air off the back of a car and does like a flip.
I love it.
Her powers are very weird in this movie.
It's-
She's like superhuman, but not superhuman.
She's a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And basically, we get to the realization that, like, she was injected with a T virus and it gave her superpowers, essentially. And those superpowers, talk about power creep, because in the next fucking movie, Jesus
telekinetic.
Christ- yeah, telepathetic. Honestly, if it seems like I'm all over the place with my explanation of this movie, so were the writers. So let's just get to the climax.
So
There's a big fight.
I will say about this movie, it loved to introduce 15 characters and kill 13 of them.
Yeah, and then be like,
Well,
hey,
12 of them.
you like that person? Anyway, don't worry about it. We do find out
They're
that
dead. It's cool.
the guy who couldn't fix his legs and or his glasses has a daughter, and that's the whole like driving plot point, is that she's in a school. They need to rescue her. Whatever, they rescue her. She has the antiviral.
She has shitty hair.
Who the fuck cares? And she's English.
Yeah.
And guess
Ew.
what? Just like in Aliens, that girl is not in the next movie.
So these movies really, to me, felt like they looked at or watched the Alien movies and then said, okay, we're going to adapt this to be a Resident Evil. Because if you really look at it, that's kind of how it goes. The first Alien movie, it's all about Sigourney Weaver. Everyone else gets killed. She survives. Second Alien movie, they're like, okay, aliens. They add in a little girl.
And military.
And it's fine.
And a love interest.
And then third Alien movie,
it's on a barren planet.
yeah, right, with a bunch of lice.
Yes, it's not good.
So
yeah.
it just feels like they kind of stole from another movie while using a video game as its source, being like,
Well, it's straight up baffling that the guy from The Mummy, I mean, he is in the next movie and he's an important character. And
quote unquote,
and Alice, or not Alice,
Claire.
Jill, are important
Jill?
to this story. Jill Valentine are important to this story, but are not in the next movie. Jill and the girl.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. They just cast him aside.
I
So-
like to think that Jill and the girl went a different route.
They went to a better movie.
Probably not, but
So, and like I said, I don't know what happens in 4, 5, 6. Maybe they show back up. Anyway, big climactic fight that's really stupid. They're like, oh, all he was misunderstood. And Nemesis helps fight. He blows up a
he was like,
helicopter.
I
then
was just
he gets
trying to
fucked.
angrily fuck you.
Yeah, and then guess what? The movie ends. But it fucking doesn't because there's 20 more minutes. And this is always where we get the nude scene because now you get to see Mila Jovovich's very long nipples. And
Yeah.
she's in a facility. I don't really know what's happening
Is
here.
this the facility where we find out she's a clone? Or is that not?
That's the
till
next
third
movie.
one? Okay.
But that is what they're doing.
Well, this one also, this is where you realize it doesn't connect to the third if you're paying attention.
Because it
there's
spreads out.
They get a helicopter and they leave.
And they spread the news story that
Oh, the
this
stupid
happened.
news story.
And it's like one news story. They're like, breaking news. Umbrella Corporation caused the outbreak in Raccoon City. Next one. It's a hoax. And that was it.
Yeah, they say it's a hoax, and they say like the journalist was just seeking fame, and it's not that bad. And Raccoon City
How could
was
the journalist
and
seek fame? She's fucking dead.
Right? And then they're like, an Umbrella Corporation actually is a savior of all of us. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like a lot of corporations.
I know that's the most real thing about
Yeah.
this fucking
It is.
this movie.
But so they all get on a helicopter, but as they're leaving, the helicopter crashes. I don't remember why. But Mila dies, and then they're like, oh, no other bodies were found. So everyone else, both Valentine, little girl, tattoo face from Mummy, and there was no one else alive
That's
was
it.
there. So those three aren't there. But then in the next movie, tattoo face from the Mummy's like, why did you leave us in Boston? And I was like, why the fuck were you at Boston? You were in Illinois.
Get some
Also,
beans.
she died on that helicopter crash. You guys ran away.
Yeah, it doesn't
What?
make any sense.
No, she didn't die.
Yeah, she did. They covered her up with a sheet.
Yeah, but she wasn't
And they
dead.
took her body.
They took her, and then like she.
Well,
Was
they took her,
alive.
but she came back to life
Because she
because
comes
she's
back to
got the
life at
T
the end, and you
virus.
see her nipples.
So you're
Yeah.
in the back the tank.
Yeah, in that tank. So that's yeah,
Oh yeah, she gets ejected from that tank, and the water runs out. And,
yeah, and then she kills a guy.
yeah.
What can you say?
It happens to the best of us.
Continuing with a theme here. Honestly, it's entertaining enough that I'm just gonna give it a bargain bin.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's just it's right where it belongs.
It's copy paste of the first one, but at
with
least
more action, that's
yeah.
really funny.
And a little.
and it's like outdoor nighttime. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's kind of it's sort of a more traditional zombie movie and
Yeah.
a little bit more Resident Evil game based.
I will say there is one thing that the first two of these movies does not even try to do that the third movie that we'll get to at least does a little bit, like a little tiny bit, and that's be scary. Because these are not scary, these are just action movies.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the third one has some elements
They're
of horror
classified
to it.
as horror action. It's not.
It's just action. It's just The Matrix
Yeah.
with zombies.
yeah.
All right, Peyton, bring us on home.
All right, so
And that'll do it for us here.
I don't know if that was a dig at Resident Evil 3 or Peyton.
It was a dig at Resident Evil 3.
So we start off with recapping the last 10 minutes of the last movie.
No, we're talking about Resident Evil 3.
I know, that's what I'm doing. Actually, it's more like Resident Evil 1. They sort of reshoot,
Oh, yeah.
kind of. So
yeah.
we kind of,
Okay,
we
I
open-
don't know if you guys did this, but when I started watching it, I thought I turned the wrong one on.
Well-
Because I was like, what the fuck?
I did that a couple years ago when I watched all three in a row. But
You were
so
like-
this time I was ready.
Okay,
This
I
time
was like,
knew.
oh fuck, I turned 1. I literally closed it and reopened 3, and I was like, ah, damn it.
I did the same thing. I was like, wait, no, I'm watching 3, right? 2007? Oh, yeah.
Damn, I'm in for a rude awakening.
So we open up in the mansion. She's going through basically what she did in the first movie. And she gets this hallway. And, oh no, she dies. Oh no, some people come in and pick her up and dump her in with the rest of her clones?
Yeah.
What?
This is where I was like, uh-oh, Paris Fashion Week. They all passed out from not eating enough. Because it's just a bunch of hot models laying on the ground.
In the same outfit. And I'm like, how many dresses of those things do they...
I know.
They
just
have
take
one
the
full-time
dress- Yeah.
seamstress in that hive that's making all the outfits.
I
God,
fucking
they
hate
don't
this.
stop fucking killing those
They
clones,
just
I
make
swear
one
to God.
black one or something.
I know. God,
sequence
can't I
or
just do
something.
like a collar on this? Make it a little bit longer so she doesn't have to wear stupid sport shorts underneath?
We should use Dalmatian.
Then we open up on the caravan of people, kind of just cruising through the. Oh, well, one thing we need to set up is that the T virus goes worldwide and somehow seeps into nature and kills the planet.
Yeah, it's a desert.
And so the
It's a
entire world is now just desert and dried up or something.
Except they still only go to like desert-based cities.
Yeah.
Yes, it's almost as if they could only shoot in desert-based cities because the world is not a desert.
Yeah.
I was like, there's gotta be something that's
It's-
not desert.
3 is a weird mix of Mad Max Maximum Overdrive and a maximum amount of not Resident Evil good.
And then I was gonna say it's a weird mix of those, and then you take everything out of them that makes them those movies, and that's what it is
exactly.
because it's just vehicles, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Vehicles. And some like neat armor.
This is National Lampoon's Vacation with zombies in
Pretty
it.
much. Yeah.
National Lampoon's Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum vacation. So then they find like this hotel place, and they're like, "Hey, check it out!" And they check it out. The
Meanwhile, you've neglect to remember or mention we do get introduced to our
Whoa, what was-
first own video game character in this movie, which is Claire Redfield.
Claire
Well,
Danes.
and Carlos is in it too.
Well, he's not in the video games, but
Oh.
Yeah, he is.
Carlos is?
Yeah.
The Stars guy?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
he's in.
Oh, also in the last
Season
movie, Carlos got bit,
3.
but he got the
Antivirus.
antiviral. But I guess the antivirus doesn't like carry on.
Yeah,
Oh,
longer
we
than
forgot
a
to
year.
mention also at the end of the movie, of the last one, she escapes and gets in a car with Carlos, Jill Valentine, and the child.
That's
And they
right.
leave.
Oh shit, they do.
I forgot about
So
that.
wait, maybe they then do drive to Boston.
And what happened to the other two?
What other two?
The little girl and Jill.
Oh, in the future, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
In the 3,
But we get introduced to Claire, and here's the funniest thing.
Claire Danes.
I think whoever wrote this movie just named this character Claire and wasn't thinking because she is not credited as being Claire Redfield until the next movie.
Really?
Yeah, she's just as Claire in this movie. So I think they just wrote that name on accident and then we're like, oops. Because
Whoa.
I don't think Claire Redfield's a blonde.
I don't remember Claire in the. She's in 2, right? The
Yeah.
game. Yeah, I think she's a brunette.
Yeah, so I think they just fucked up
She
on...
teams up with Leon, right?
That actress plays that actress all the time.
Yes, she does. She plays
that character.
She's always kind of like this.
She was like that
a
in
little bit of an
Heroes, too.
underbite. Oh,
I
she was.
like Ali Larder a lot.
She worked in Heroes.
She's a good actress, but she's always
She's so good
Ali
in
playing something.
I like her character in Final Destination 1, but I really like her character, the small part she has, or Final Destination 2, where they meet her in there, she's in that padded cell.
She's like, everything's done. We can go, like, we're fine. And then she gets blown
Blown
up.
up,
in prison.
yeah. Speaking of this movie,
Yeah, so
It
then
blew up.
Alice is trying to stay away from satellites because they can track her somehow, she's found out. And she also found out she's psychic. She was sleeping and having like flashbacks of the last 2 movies. Recap again for the second time in this movie. And then she's like, oh wow, I'm psychic. And then so she somehow stumbles upon this motel that they stopped at, the caravan.
I believe it was a hotel.
it's a radio station.
A motel. A
I
Holiday
think
Inn.
it's a motel, yeah.
The first one that she stops at is a radio station.
I'm sorry, I totally glossed over the fact that she was kidnapped by some
Don't apologize.
Yo,
hillbillies. And
look, I have mentioned it a
Oh.
million times. If you're an avid listener of this show, you already know I do not like sexual assault as a means of horror in horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And this movie's like, 10 minutes in, yeah, that's enough time. Let's do it. And then they like get ready to do it, and
They're-
then she kicks a guy in the head and kills him.
Well, so
She's
what she
super
did,
strong, remember?
she kicked him in the nose
Oh,
and
the
then sent the
bone.
nose bone
Oh.
into his brain.
But it's so funny. They're like, you killed him.
I know.
And that's the Fratellis from the Goonies that kidnapped her.
I think it's hilarious though that they're like, you killed him. Let's keep her alive and torture her.
Let's
Where
have
it's like,
fun.
just
And not
kill
just-
her.
yeah.
Let's
that's what
feed
I
her
was
to the dogs.
I was like, just blow her brains out right
Yeah.
then and there. You knocked her out. Finish the job.
The dogs only eat fresh meat, Peyton.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hmm?
They could have eaten her.
Yeah,
And
like
then-
feed her to the dogs when she's asleep.
I'd eat her fresh meat. Hey, yo.
Oh.
Her roast beef curtains.
We don't know that. We just know she has long nipples. Don't slander her.
We've only seen the top of it.
If the top half matches the bottom half.
It's long nipples. Like an udder.
Oh, man. So a murder of crows is attacking our heroes in their caravan. And
Bro, these crows look like fucking shit. They like
look
in the
terrible.
in the mob. It's
Yeah.
like Alfred Hitchcock is rolling around in his grave.
Oh, gosh. And especially when they're in the bus and they're holding up the window, they look like they're just like projected onto a screen behind the window. You're like, that looks terrible.
I do have to say, they introduced a bunch of characters who never learned their names, who are far more interesting and should have survived.
Yes.
Like the bus driver guy.
The bus driver guy.
He
the
was
tech
cool.
Guy,
The tech guy was cool.
The country boy.
The country
He was
shooter,
not interesting at all. I'm
sharpshooter.
glad he
He
died.
was really hot.
I knew you were going to fucking say
He's
it.
really hot.
The nurse girl.
Also,
the black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just there to be Mike
Killed.
Epps' love interest.
It's a
but
hidden
die 5
die.
minutes after.
Yeah, Mike Epps gets bit before all of this.
Yeah, while they're clearing out the motel.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to cover this up because I'm dumb and in a zombie movie. And so...
That's so stupid.
It's so dumb. So anyways, flashing back forward, the murder of crows is trying to kill people. Alice shows up and they have a flamethrower for some reason on top of a vehicle.
Yeah.
I think a flamethrower is probably not the best weapon to use.
I think it's pretty dope, honestly.
It's
Yeah.
cool, but like I don't know if it's
It only exists
effective.
for this next shot.
pretty much. So Alice like shields the flame from hitting Carlos accidentally and up into the crows.
I don't get
and it
that.
just spreads everywhere.
She
killing
burns the
crows.
whole
It
sky.
incinerates and it's just
She uses her psychic powers.
To burn the whole sky?
Yeah, to kill all the crows.
To burn the whole sky?
She, like,
Yeah.
directed the fire.
There's not even that
upward.
much fire.
No, but like in her brain could like expand the amount of fire particles
Don't
because she's
give
got
this
psychic
movie
powers.
any leeway.
I don't think it was that well thought out.
I do.
But it is a pretty cool scene because we're kind of like down below, kind of like circling around her. The sky's on fire because she's like, oh wow, look what I did.
Also, Alice's skin in this movie is porcelain beautiful skin.
This is
In
the
the
best.
desert.
This
Zero
is the
sense.
best she looks in
She
all of the
looks
movies.
so beautiful.
She has shorter hair than normal, and it's
Like
the
her
apocalypse.
skin is like not a blemish in sight for the past 8 years on that skin. I would have cut her face off and worn it.
By the way, a
So
bunch of people
pretty.
get eaten by fucking crows.
Oh, yeah.
because they're like, why are the crows look like that? They're like, they've been eating infected flesh, and then it's like,
The zombie
okay,
murder crows.
enough reason for me.
Yeah.
Which we also find out in this movie that while they do feast on flesh, they don't die if they don't eat flesh.
Yeah, don't get it.
Yeah.
So they're eternal.
I do have to say my favorite part of this movie is that about like 30 minutes of it takes place in one single action sequence,
Yeah.
which is a bad action sequence to begin with,
Wait.
but we'll get there. It's this one.
It's coming up like in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all this movie is.
So what we find out kind of in between is that the guy from Game of Thrones, Mormont, whoever plays Khaleesi's
Oh, Mr. Gray.
Advisor.
That's him
Yeah.
again, but a different
simping
guy.
over Khaleesi guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to find Alice because she's the key to the vaccine, to this whole thing. I can
Her
turn this-
blood is the vaccine.
Oh yeah,
is
her
what he
blood
says.
is. He can like reverse engineer her blood to be the vaccine and kind of not cure the zombies, but like make them dormant or like.
No, he's trying to because
House
earlier they
train.
show that you can inject them with something and it makes them remember who they are.
Kind of remember that.
Kind of, and then he eats a bunch of guys.
Yeah. So
It's like, oh, this guy was a cannibal. Our bad.
Whoops. Oh man. And so basically that kind of launches the plot of like they're gonna hunt down Alice, and so we go to the caravan to like, oh man, we're all out of food and fuel, and we just we lost a lot of people. Where are we gonna go? Vegas, because that's the only place left, and for some reason that's where they want to go for fuel.
Like, there's gas there.
Oh, also Alice went into a place and found a notebook that someone just kept writing the word Alaska over and over again.
No, that was earlier. The guy, the radio guy, found that earlier and was like, I'm telling you, I'm getting radio signals saying Alaska is a safe place to go.
No, but Alice picked up the book.
Later, after that guy dies. Earlier, he sees it. Yeah. He sees it.
He's like writing down.
He's writing it down. He's writing down
frequencies
notes.
and the notes.
Yeah. He's receiving
messages.
radio transmissions about it.
But the notebook that Alice picks up is
It's
like
a different one.
yeah. I was
Which is
like, it's
really-
not the same.
It's not the same one. It's really fucking stupid because they already explained to us to go to Alaska.
Because she finds that notebook and it's not a person that was turned into a zombie by the T virus. That person wrote all that down, but then I believe hung themselves because they're rotting but hanging from the ceiling. Which I was like, that's actually kind of cool, and I wish they would have focused on like more stuff, not like more of people killing themselves, but like it's interesting of being like that person didn't want the zombies to be able to get to them, so they like they figured that out, and then I think it was just like a poorly framed
Yeah, it was a weird
aspect, but it could have been a lot better and well done.
Yeah.
So they travel to Vegas.
Travel to Vegas, and the next 20, 30 minutes is this action scene where half...
Oh god, a shipping container's blocking a tunnel
Oh god, a
covered in
shipping
sand.
yeah, a shipping container has
We gotta move it.
165 fucking zombies in
It's
it.
a clown shipping container, okay?
And yet they open the door and they can't even see to the end of it, but somehow 80 pop out because they're
just like,
so
how did
far
they
back.
all get killed by 20 zombies that were right here?
This movie, this one has the least amount of substance to its story somehow. There's
Yeah.
literally nothing happens in
It's
this movie.
least amount of substance and plot, but better put together, I feel.
Yeah, and that's what's so fucking frustrating about it because it was the one that I enjoyed the most,
Yeah.
but only because the other two I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But this
there
scene,
was a lot less.
no, there's a bit more because
there's some,
this
but
fight
not-
scene
not
she
too
has as
much.
kookaries.
Oh yeah,
And she's like flying up in the air and like, and I'm like, Alice, 5 people have died in the middle of your theatrics for fighting. Like, just fight normal. Meanwhile, the Umbrella Corporation can also see through her eyeballs.
somehow. I don't get that part. It's so random.
Just
Chips,
get to the fucking
microchips.
helicopter.
So let's see. She finds out that Stars is there not Stars,
Raccoon City.
Raccoon City.
Because she uses her brain powers to short out the satellite.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, and then she shows up and they're like, oh my god, she's right there!
Ah.
She starts shooting them.
And so the guy, Mormont, gets into the helicopter. He starts flying away. She's like, I'm going to shoot him down. But I'm not, because we need that helicopter to fly
And
to
there's a
Alaska.
teenage girl where it's like, that easily could have been the character from the last movie.
Her name's Kmart.
It could have
Kmart.
been.
Because that's where
I
they
forgot.
found
That
her.
would've been
She's
so
like,
much
I didn't like my
better.
old name and everyone else I knew died, so I picked the name Kmart. It was half off, just like their blue light specials.
They wouldn't even give me Target.
There was already a Target.
We couldn't get funding from Target. So.
I tried to go with Claire's, but there was already a Claire.
Meanwhile, fucking Mr. Gray got bit, apparently.
Yeah, I got bit, so he wants to inject himself with the antivirus that he's made through clone blood.
Yeah. And now he can make a very specific type of hentai all on his own.
Tentacle.
Tentacle porn, because he has tentacles that he shoves into a guy's eyes and mouth.
Sucks out his eyeballs or something.
Yeah.
Like operatives that are left over from the Umbrella Corporation are like, all right, Mr. Gray, you're done experimenting. You suck. So they shoot him to kill him, but then he turns into his tentacle form.
He's like,
It's like, you like that?
He was like
You gonna
Carnage
take
in
it?
the new movie.
and he puts up such a fucking fight with these guys, and then when Alice shows up, he's like, all right, I'll just die.
Oh, you cut me a few times. Oh.
And
Yeah, a bunch of people die.
Yep,
Basically. And then they're like, oh, we need to get that helicopter that's surrounded in this Raccoon City base in the middle of Utah or wherever they are place. And then Mummy Man takes some TNT in a truck and just plows through the mass,
Oh, yeah.
the horde of zombies that's surrounding
And
the
he
city.
finds a
And
joint.
he finds a joint and he
Oh,
lights
the
it
best
up.
way to go out.
Kaboom!
I would do it with explosive heroin.
I do it with explosive poppers. I'm
Those
really
are
gay.
explosives. Not some tea.
Look, whoa, my butthole's open.
And then they're gonna, I guess, fly a helicopter to.
And then, yeah,
Alaska.
she puts the survivors on a helicopter to fly to Alaska from Nevada.
They put like 18 people in that helicopter and it starts going, but then it just crashes immediately.
I just want to mention, I did look it up just now, just so I could say it.
Okay, good.
A helicopter. Bro,
Is this like when I looked
It's
up the
gonna
flight
take
time
you-
for a helicopter from Portland to Oregon
It's
for
going to take
50
you
Shades of Grey?
so long
'Cause I
to
did that.
fly.
Really?
It is a 55-hour drive.
55 hour. Okay, I was saying 55
No,
hour
no.
flight.
Okay, but helicopters don't have huge fuel tanks. You
No.
will have to land a lot.
Yeah.
There is more distance from Nevada to Alaska than there is across the United States.
That doesn't
It's
surprise me.
3,500 miles to get from Nevada to Alaska.
What are they gonna stop in Vancouver and then fuel up and then leave?
The zombies are like,
Maybe.
hey.
They're much more polite and north of
They're
the
like,
border.
Are
you hosers.
Are you dying? You're not dead yet? Okay, I won't
To
eat
be
you.
fair, they could probably stop in one of the Dakotas to fuel up because there's nothing there.
But that's like so out of their way. That's
They would have to go
that's
like this and then like this and then like
northeast,
this.
Not north and west.
They've already gone out of their way to go
Let's
to
be
Alaska because they
real.
were in like
They-
Chicago.
They drove to Boston and somehow got out to Nevada, so
I don't get it. And I
I don't
will
think
say
they're great at maps.
two pet peeves. One that's like a real world pet peeve. Weapon discipline always bothers me in movies, but
Oh, yeah.
you don't have your hand on the trigger of a gun when you're
No.
walking
yeah.
around with it.
No.
Never.
No.
Other thing, when they run out of ammo, they just throw their guns.
Like,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
you
I
can
think
do
guns are harder to find than ammo. I'm going to be completely honest. Because
Yeah,
the guy
but-
has that big gun. He's like, duk, 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 runs out. He's like, eh.
Well, because Claire was like shooting the zombies on the bus driver, no, the tech guy,
Yeah.
and she was like unloading on these zombies. I'm like, dude, conserve your ammo. And
but
he's
also,
dead
like,
already. Who cares? Just
The number of times that people are like, oh no, they're eating my friend. I'd be like, well, let him eat for a
If you
bit.
guys were getting eaten by zombies and I like had an opportunity to get out, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, and I'd leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want
Also,
you to.
if there were 3 zombies eating you and I shot one in the back and it didn't react, I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to walk a little closer and like kill shot him so I'm not wasting
And then I
fucking
would come
ammo.
back to you guys being zombies, and I'd keep you as pets. I'd put you on a
Oh.
leash.
Cute.
I'd lop your arms off so you
And
can't
our
grab
jaws,
me.
I think you
And
could
your
lop
jaws,
it.
yeah, from Walking Dead.
I mean, but I feel like that would backfire. So just take me out.
We just do
I
this-
don't care,
Just,
just-
like shove our upper jaw into your.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like hammer into me.
Just kill me.
No.
Yes.
I think yeah.
They'd be funny to have zombie pets.
I would be the first person where it's like, I got bit. Hey, bye. And then you'd be like, what? Oh my
No, I know.
god.
You'd be like, I got bit. What? I would hide it.
With the zombie.
No, you
You
would.
would. You would be like, I got you guys.
I'd be like, hey, want to see a good prank? What?
Boom, boom. Got us good, though.
Ah, that was a pretty good prank, though.
Ah, zombie with the fat ass.
That zombie got booty.
All right, Peyton.
Well, would you do the podcast with Zombie Us? You
yeah.
sit us down and like,
Like, welcome to
"All right,
Bob's Way. I'm
guys."
joined here by. No different than normal. Peyton.
Oh.
Wait, what was our? Oh, the last 5 minutes of the next first movie. The first 5 minutes.
Oh my God, that's right. Because the movie
Sorry, the
ends.
last 5
So
minutes
that
of this movie with the
is-
first 5 minutes of the next movie. If
Yeah,
it is
in
the
the
next.
That's right.
Actually-
It's what kills the tentacle guy is Alice is aided by a Alice clone.
Yeah.
Oh, because
in the
Alice.
laser
Yeah.
hallway.
Mm-hmm. And the laser.
Which, okay, she comes up with the computer girl, the twin sister of the computer for the first one. I don't know how that
Which
works.
she calls her a cunt or something
Yeah.
like that, which was really funny to me.
And then she's like, hey, yeah, you're going to go in there and I'm not going to help you even though I'm a sentient computer that pretty much can go anywhere I want in this whole facility, but decide to not join you on your adventure down in the basements.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh.
And then I was thinking that in the laser one, the computer was controlling the laser hallway, and so it was going to turn it off right when it got to Alice. But it was her clone. I was like, well,
Yeah,
thanks,
it's so
computer,
lame.
for like I'm not going to help you anymore.
And I bet there's no clones in the next one.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Not in their water bubbles.
No,
I think the
fuck
next
that.
one is when they're like Alice and Claire are like wearing all leather.
The next one's in 3D, I believe.
Is it?
It's called Afterlife.
Fuck yeah.
As far as I know.
I thought that was this one.
No, this was Extinction.
I thought that was
Apocalypse?
the last one.
This is Apocalypse.
That was
I
Apocalypse.
thought that was the first one.
That was a bad movie. All right, what are you giving it, Peyton?
I like this one better because it's more put together, but it's still a bargain bin.
Yes.
This
God,
whole
that's what I'm saying
franchise-
too. It's
Yes,
so
at least this first three because I don't remember the next.
it's so fun that are you going to say it's a bargain bin?
Yeah.
It's so fun
It's
that
a
this
bargain
is three
bin
bargain bin
episode.
movies. It's like
This is what bargain bonanzas are
they
about.
exist so perfectly in the sphere of like. It was so funny. So
I can guarantee that you could still find these in Walmart, and
No.
the plastic
In,
wrap
like-
wouldn't even be the good kind; it'd be that really crappy kind that
Bro.
kind of peels
In the
apart in
4-pack
little
of
bits.
in one disc.
Do you know what's
Yeah.
crazy about these movies? They're still fucking showing them on TBS.
Yeah.
Because when I went
Very funny.
when I tried to go and watch this movie, it was like, where is it streaming?
was like,
and
do you wanna
something
watch it
was like,
live?
it's on TBS tonight. And I was like,
Oh, really?
what the fuck? Yeah,
God.
Resident Evil 1, which is always on TV. Oh, that's so
Break it every
beautiful.
once in a while too. Like,
Yeah,
Michelle Rodriguez is like, I want to get the heck out of here.
I'm sorry that I always heck up all the time.
yeah. this-
Gosh.
So far, this franchise is
Bad.
right in our sweet spot. Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, just wait till the next ones. I don't know.
It's
if they're
not
any
good. It's not bad. It's just.
I know in one of these next ones, there's a villain that looks like it's from Silent Hill. It's like a giant executioner man with a big axe.
Ooh,
That's the next one. It's in 3D, so I think it's the next
I'm
one.
excited.
I remember seeing the trailers.
Good morning.
But yeah, wow. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Peyton, why don't you take us into the outro of places you can find us and everything like
You can
that.
find us on Spotify. You can find us on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button.
We're so close. We're like 100 away.
Are we really?
Yeah.
And
100 away from getting 100.
Oh, not yet.
okay. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Or we have a link tree.
link.tr/bombsaway podcast.
Thank you, because I do not have it memorized.
Yes, that's where you can find links to everything. Our
Everything.
Teespring.
We have T-shirts,
T-shirts.
which are pretty comfortable.
I know you got one.
I got one. I received it a few weeks ago, and man, that is a comfortable shirt. I tell you.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll say it right now because I guess this is 2 weeks from right now.
You want to give us a little? What's a preview of what's to come?
Yeah, so we're gonna do a giveaway on the on the Instagram. So make sure that you're following us on the Instagram. The giveaway is going to include a mystery item because I'm not sure about the mystery item yet. We got to figure out the logistics of that, but it's going to include
A lock of our hair.
a pube from Mila Jovovich in this movie.
Measuring in at 3
It's
centimeters.
going to include a mystery item, some stickers, and a T-shirt of your choice from our show's store on Teespring. The way that'll work is whoever is selected to win, you'll tell us what shirt you want, what size, we'll order it, we'll send it to you in a package.
When we select the winner, we'll DM them.
And it'll be one of those
We'll DM 'em.
traditional, Instagram giveaways. Make sure you're
Like.
following us, like the post, comment
Comment.
2 people. We'll do the drawing eventually, probably near the end of the month. Maybe we'll do the drawing on our next episode or like a furthered out episode.
Probably wrapping up the end of Halloween season.
Yeah. And then we hope you guys like that stuff. I'm really happy with a lot of the merch stuff. I want to do more. So yeah, and that's a good way to grow the
think so.
brand, as
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
And we'll do we'll do bonus entries too if you really want to win. If you leave us a review, I'll give you an extra. Send us a screenshot that you left a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever. Throw in an extra entry. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Throw in 2. No, I'm just kidding. Throw in 1 extra entry. Really stack it for one person. But yeah, so look out for that on Instagram. I'll put it out. It'll go out the day that this episode comes out.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll win.
Peyton's gonna win it. That
No.
would be a good look for us.
No. Heck no.
Rigged.
But yeah, that about does it here for us at Bombs Away. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Join us in 2 weeks for the penultimate Halloween episode, which happens to, I believe, be coming out. Let me see this. Which happens to be coming out 6 more days till Halloween. Halloween. On October 25th. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I'm so fucking excited. I love this movie so much. So ready to talk about it.
It's your Phantom.
No, shut the fuck up. Don't even say that to me. You know what? That's it. Show's over. Cut it there.
Well, it was a good run, guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. See you in 2 weeks for Halloween 3. Bye-bye.
Resident Eve, take my viral load.